Did a segment not too long ago talking about this. And this is the part I know a lot of folks hate to use or hate to hear terms like manufactured associated with the COVIDs because it make it seems like you're dumbing it down, right? You're making it seem like it doesn't exist and all of that. So they call you a conspiracy theorist. But I objectively am going to show you yet again another example of how there's a certain portion of this COVID's pandemic, epidemic, whatever you want to call it, that is completely manufactured. Meaning that a lot of what we know it to be is artificially created. It is not organic in any sense. This conclusion that is being reached. And let's read the title of the article that we're going to go to real quick. As you see, New York hospitals face possible mass firings as workers spurn vaccines. With the Monday deadline looming, thousands of healthcare workers in the state are risking their jobs by not getting the coronavirus vaccine. So let's recap real quick before we read this. Okay. So we're talking about a virus that is supposedly so deadly that you need all hands on deck. There was a point in time, though they were pop locking and dropping it on TikTok, the frontline workers were being seen as, at least the nurses and doctors and so forth, they were being seen as the world's greatest people in the world's greatest people in the world. That doesn't even make sense, but let's run with that. There were just these great people doing awesome things, and some of them, yeah, maybe. And then they said, we're going to enter in a new flu season. Let's set a deadline for when these people are supposed to get this vaccine. That may have, it doesn't matter if they caught the virus or not. It doesn't matter. They need to get the vaccine. If they don't get it by then, we're going to fire them. Okay, guys. This is a virus that is supposedly, again, so deadly, so infectious. You need all hands on deck. Why on earth would you fire a bunch of people that are would willfully work, of course, considering where we're at, what season that we're going to be entering in? We're talking so much and everybody griping about the hospitals being overwhelmed. Why on earth would you fire staff in the event that you have this virus that is as deadly that they say? Why would you not want to have all hands on deck? See, that's the part that's manufactured. See, I wouldn't be at all surprised if New York fires all these people. Now, they might not do it because of this. But let's just say they do go through with it. And then yet another industry that has kind of a labor shortage, if you will. Because once the demand raises as it does every year during this time of year, it won't be anything new. You're talking percentages, 90 percentile of the ICU capabilities that are used in some areas. What happens when that spike hits, as it does with the flu, used to, because the flu don't exist no more, apparently. But what happens when the cases go up again and supposedly you need all these people on deck, but you ain't got access to them. And now all of a sudden the hospitals are overwhelmed. If that happens, it's complete in this area, New York. It's fucking manufactured. That was a self-inflicted wound, and it needs to be called as such. Like, not even joking. In Buffalo, the Erie County Medical Center plans to suspend elective inpatient surgeries and not take intensive care patients from other hospitals because it may soon fire about 400 employees who have chosen not to get vaccinated. Officials at Northwell Health, New York's largest provider of health care, estimate that they have to fire thousands of people who have refused to get the vaccine. And while the vast majority of staff members at New York City's largest private hospital, New York Presbyterian, have been vaccinated as of this week, more than 200 employees have faced termination because they had not. These are just a fraction of the workers at risk of losing their jobs or being put on unpaid leave after Monday, when a state directive requiring hospitals and nursing home employees in the state to receive at least one shot of a virus vaccine that takes effect. September 22nd, State data shows around 84% of New York's 450,000 hospital workers and 83% of its 145,400 nursing home employees had been fully vaccinated, but tens of thousands of people are estimated to not have gotten the shot despite being threatened with losing their jobs. And you know what? To be honest, those are the people. I know I rag on nurses all the time and all these people that work in the medical industry that have proven to be corrupt. I commend them for that effort. You know why? Because clearly they have some guns that they want to stick to. Now, I'm not pretending like a lot of areas have not, like industries, definitely in the medical community, that have not required you to have some sort of vaccines, maybe for polio and stuff. But to act as if COVID is that, and like flu shots, I was looking today and all these medical doctors saying, I've taken it. They've, saying that they've taken it, but they've never been required to take the flu shot in order to work. Why are we doing this with COVID? The holdouts say they fear potential side effects from vaccines, have natural immunity, or believe the mandate violates their personal freedoms. There's not a belief. It does. If the mandate's coming from the state, that's exactly what it does, and that's what's happening in New York's case. It absolutely does. Let's not pretend otherwise. It does. It's not a belief. It's just the reality. It absolutely does violate and impede upon their freedom, because it's not like these private institutions are doing it upon their own will. Some of them may, but not all of them. But like it says, potential side effects, natural immunity, which is a big one. I mean, a lot of these guys have been working front lines with the pandemic, dealing with actual COVID patients, and have been dealing with them for a very long time. Some of them, if not most of them, have caught it. They have natural immunity. Why are you requiring them to get a jab? I would say, why are you requiring anybody? That's their risk that they want to assume. But in the same respects, why on earth would you require people that have already have the antibodies? Why would you require them to get jabbed? It's almost like this shit is a fucking cult. So what's happening right now, as documented, hospital are around New York are, obviously add it all up, are going to end up firing, if this stays and if this goes through, thousands upon thousands of employees. Multiple thousands, not just 1,000, multiple thousands. Again, what happens? You tell me. I don't know. I'm just saying, when we hear maybe in New York cases going up, cases. Hospitalizations. We're overwhelmed. We ain't got the hotel staff. We ain't got the fucking medical staff. Oh my God. What is that if not manufactured? That is a self-inflicted wound. That is something that did not have to be there. That is now there because, well, the government said that they must be required because, hey, they're handling patients and all that. You don't want them to get other people sick. Interesting. Well, why wouldn't you be worried about the antibodies if that's the case? Not whether or not they got the jab. You're not even testing for the antibodies. Don't you know that vaccinated people can carry it? That's interesting how that works and how weird that is, that it's like, oh, you need to get the vaccine or take a negative test. And I don't think that's an exemption exists for them. But think about that logic right there. Think about that. Just ponder on it a little bit. We know that vaccinated people can spread it. We know they can catch it. That's not opinion. That's fact. They said that it wasn't doing that, but they're wrong. Ain't nothing new. Government lies all the fucking time. Breakthrough cases ain't much of a breakthrough anymore because it happens so often. So now what? It makes no sense. It's illogical, but it is manufactured. It is manufactured for sure. And I don't like that people question this and look at that and say, well, that's a self-inflicted wound. That's a perhaps fake, because it didn't have to be that way. You have people that are willing and ready to work, but you don't want them to work because you're requiring them to get a vaccine, which again doesn't make sense, because we know that from the spread case, like if that's we're trying to keep the patient safe. If that's your logic, well, why wouldn't you be testing the people that are getting vaccinated? Because that's not a requirement, because they can still catch it and spread it. Look, so much of this stuff makes no sense. But God forbid you question this shit. Well, you're a conspiracy theorist, anti-science, trademark, MAGA hat wearing nut job. Because you question it, despite it not making any fucking sense logically. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.